Time to venture back to the wastelands with Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. I got the chance to check out the film. It is directed by George Miller. It is rated R with a runtime of 2 hours and 28 minutes. A prequel story that sort of explores the origins of Furiosa leading up to where we find her in Mad Max Fury Road. Now, full disclosure, I have not seen the other Mad Max movies outside of Fury Road. I was told Fury Road was a good sort of jumping on point for the franchise, so I watched that in preparation of Furiosa. And I wasn't really the greatest fan of Fury Road. I thought the action was great, obviously. I think Charlize Theron as Furiosa, she did a great job in that performance. Tom Hardy was a little bit lacking. Obviously, he didn't have too many lines, so he kind of had to express himself a lot through action and facial expressions, and his character was just very hollow and one note. Despite being a Mad Max movie, he felt like a supporting character in his own movie. So I didn't really like the film as much as I was hoping I would. So going into Furiosa, my expectations were a little tempered for sure. Having said that, this movie's awesome. Let's start with my positives. Firstly, despite the much longer runtime, this is about half an hour longer than Fury Road, I never once felt bored. The pacing of this movie just worked for me, and the evolving tale of Furiosa as a character was just an enjoyable ride from beginning to end. I really enjoyed the score as well, which was one of the things I did like about Fury Road. When those, road war set pieces are happening, the music, it just booms louder and louder and louder, and it just complements the action so well. Composer Tom Holkenborg, aka Junkie XL, has quickly sort of jumped the ranks as one of my favorite composers in the industry, right after, Hans Zimmer, of course. So to have him come back and continue his tremendous work in this playground was just chef's kiss. I also feel that the editing for this just allowed the movie to breathe a little bit, especially in the action scenes as well. In Fury Road, the action was very chaotic, it was very frantic, so there was a lot of quick cuts and it's kind of hard for me to follow along. But I felt like the sequences just flowed more easily, and it was just much easier for me to kind of follow along with a lot of the action that was going on. So that was definitely a highlight for me. And my final positive mention here is our main cast of Anya Taylor-Joy as a younger Furiosa and Chris Hemsworth as a very unhinged, goofy but scene-stealing leader of a bike crew by the name of Dementis. He's just hamming it up in every single scene that he's in and just having a great time doing it, and I loved his performance all throughout. He was fantastic. I was worried he would be like another Immortan Joe, because Immortan Joe is kind of revered as this holy figure and taking his followers to Valhalla and all that, so I was worried that he was going to be kind of like that, because Immortan Joe is in the film, but he's not necessarily the antagonist, but he is sort of a very prominent figure in this movie. So to see that Dementis was treated in a different way compared to Immortan Joe, it really helped that character. And Anya does a solid job as a younger Furiosa, despite having only about like 30 lines in the movie. She has very little dialogue. I figured the reason why is because, she's on a revenge mission. She needs to be tough and stoic and focused. So kind of telling multiple characters how you need to kill Dementis or whatever, I guess would just lose its luster after a while. And I think the audience probably would start to check out. So I didn't mind the stoic silence that her character for the most part presents in the movie. It didn't take away from the experience. Now on to my negatives, and I really only have one that I can think of, and that's really the bad CGI. The best CGI is the CGI you don't notice, and I definitely noticed it a couple of times. Usually it's the most noticeable when the actors are in front of a green screen backdrop, because the way that the scene is lit, it just looks kind of weird. You can kind of see the outline of their profile that's kind of put onto like some sort of a digital screen. You can tell that there's a digital screen there, so it just kind of looks a little bit weird and breaks that immersion a bit. Overall, I'm scoring Furiosa, a Mad Max saga 4 out of 5. Despite its lengthy runtime, this prequel story does a fantastic job of providing insight into the character of Furiosa and leading into the events of Fury Road. And Anya Taylor-Joy, as the younger version of the character, successfully conveyed the anger and revenge that she feels even through very little dialogue. Hemsworth gives a scene-stealing performance as Dementis that will easily go down as one of his best roles to date. The score, editing, and action are definitely huge highlights, especially the editing, as the shots shots are not so quick with the cuts, and it allowed me to follow along with the action. The only downside is the film's pretty shoddy CGI, as the evidence of green screen backdrops is easily apparent. But now I want to know what you guys thought of Furiosa. Did you get the chance to check it out yet? And if so, where would you rank it on your list of Mad Max films? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay tuned to Geek Boulevard for when my next film review drops. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, keep it classy and keep it geeky.
Remember me.